Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. It is the Valley Business Today with the SBA. Carl Knobloch, Virginia District Director of the Small Business Administration, made the trip down from Richmond as he does most months for a conversation with a local business. Today is super cool for me because we're at the Wayside Inn in Middletown talking with Bill and Amanda Whitson. Now, some of you may know Bill from Billy Sue's Food Truck and his wife Amanda from her day job as a real estate agent. But today, I'm excited to introduce you to them as the owners of Clem's Kitchen that will open this weekend at the Wayside Inn. This weekend. Here is part of the conversation Carl and I had with them a few weeks ago. In the Wayside Inn, there is about to be some changes happening here. Changes that I did not know about, that I was quite shocked to hear, but could not be more thrilled to know about. So Carl and I have been here for about an hour. We got the full tour. We got to see the kitchen. We got an idea of what it's going to look like in the future. First thing that I said to you, Bill, was, wait, when we talked a while back, I remember you saying, food truck is the way to go. I will never again work in or own a restaurant. And yet...
Famous last words. The crow tastes good.
So whose idea was it? Amanda, did you convince him? Bill, did you convince her? Or was it an epiphany the two of you had together?
So this building has a very, very special place in my heart. He has been hearing for the last 20 years how special this building is to me. And I think when we started working here as a commissary for the food truck, he also saw the magic that I see here. So I don't know whose idea it really was to open them.
It required Amanda's blessing if we were going to do it. Could kind of see doing it, but it needed her to say yes, and we got to a yes.
I can imagine where the two of you were hesitant.
Very.
Because for good or for bad, there's been a lot of things here. Literally, when I was standing in the parking lot talking to Carl, I said, if anybody can do it, these two can break the jinx that is this location.
I don't think it's a jinx. I think Amanda and I bring to the table a sense of community and a giant heart and a love for the food and a love for the customer experience. And if you can make that work anywhere.
And to be clear, Billy Sue's Food Truck ain't going nowhere.
No, it's actually right in the parking lot. You can see it from your chair now.
So this isn't going to be something that you get rid of it to do this instead. You're going to continue.
I love that food truck. I love it. And we've got some new folks we've hired on that loved working it, so it will always live.
So what are you thinking for Clem's Kitchen? What is your vision here, Amanda?
More than anything, we want to bring this space back to being a community hub and a space for Middletown and for the people of Middletown. Food-wise, we're going to keep to some of the southern food trends of Wayside in the past, but with a much more modern twist to it and lots of fun plays on classic dishes. Your brought egg rolls will make the menu.
Yes, because I'd hate to burn a building down this sold. But that might have happened if they weren't on the menu. So how different is it from being on the food truck to having a kitchen that, quite frankly, is larger than my house?
I think we've talked before that the only constant in this world is change, and we got real good at just rolling with change. We were lucky enough to move here at a time when we were supporting a big event for Apple Blossom, so the kitchen was just perfect from a timing perspective. Working in it now from a restaurant perspective, you can support 2 more restaurants, 4 more food trucks back there. One of the challenges we had with the food truck was finding a commissary kitchen, and now we have one that we're happy to share with other food trucks or caterers or vendors or what have you. So it's nice.
I think that's going to be huge. I recently saw someone who posted on Facebook that was looking for a commercial kitchen. They have a home-based business. I want to say she makes marshmallows.
We've met with her.
And so I commented back, hey, what about this place? Hey, what about that place? I think that's going to be incredibly valuable, Carl. We've talked about that before. You don't have a place to go, you don't start a business.
Yeah, and the concept is because you have the space and you have this side of you of trying to help. And if you spun a nonprofit to it, then you could get that funded. And then that way, that space is basically running through a nonprofit section.
We need you and my accountant.
Yeah, but that's what I look at. Because if you run it from the other aspect, especially with these companies that are basically starting, you don't know how long they're going to survive. Certain food trucks and trends like that.
Surprised I'm still here.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right. So many people have had these grand visions, and every day I go and I drive places and I see the food truck for sale. And it's because it's a constant term because people finally realize the demand of it. And
It's hard.
where
It is
you're-
hard.
Really hard.
Yeah, your dedication to it, nothing but kudos because
Thanks.
you got to find the deals, you got to locations, everything else.
The team too.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's just not the cooking part of it. It's
That's the
literally-
fun part. The most fun we get to have on that thing is when we open the window and we start rocking out a service.
Yeah.
All the stuff before that, it's difficult, it's complex, it's cold, it's wet.
Yeah.
We do all that so that we can open that window. That's where we have fun.
Yeah.
And then you
that-
close it and you have to unload it.
I
And
know.
do all the dishes.
That's as long as that fun lasts.
Yeah, and it's after you've done basically a 16-hour day. And
Yeah.
you literally haven't taken it back to a location, get it all prepped, and odds are, turn around the next day, especially when it's that 4-day weekend type thing. It does. It wears on people. And then all of a sudden people discover, I really don't like your food. You're fortunate. People love your food. And so it's grown from that standpoint. And then you're able to branch yourself into catering, where a lot of food trucks try that, but they fail miserably because they just don't have enough, as I call, flavor that attracts the catering market.
You were telling me when we were standing outside that it's unusual to go from a food truck to a restaurant. Usually it's a restaurant to a food truck.
Yeah.
Were you concerned about that at all? You've got restaurant background.
Yeah, we do, and I've got the best cook I've ever met in my life's name on the sign. And we've got a team of folks that really, really care. So the restaurant part I think will be easy. Easier, I think, than launching the food truck. Easier than figuring out a lot of steps. We have that muscle. She's been in this space. Catering is something that we've done, and we used to have to pack everything up and drive it. Now we just walk it down the hall. Like, it's got event spaces here. This is a venue. So it makes our lives easier in a lot of ways.
So we're sitting here on the 3rd of September recording. People aren't listening until I think the 17th of September. But you've got a wedding that's already going to be happening here. We're keeping our fingers crossed that you're open by the time people are listening. There may be a post-production note in either direction, depending.
We'll see how it goes. We actually posted our first event here 2 weeks ago. We did a Bridgerton-themed Sweet 16 party. Super cute.
I saw the video. That was
It
amazing.
was so cute. And it was so cool to watch, like, teenagers all dressed up and dancing and listening to classical music. And then, so we also have, on the 20th, we have our first wedding reception. Yeah.
We've got weddings booked, parties booked.
Yeah.
We get more phone calls in a week for events here than we can imagine.
And I want to talk about the transformation of the interior of this place, just so that anybody that's listening, and as soon as they heard Wayside Inn come out of my mouth, they thought, ugh. It is not that anymore.
No, it's brighter, it's cleaner, it's more thoughtful in terms of what we're trying to do here, which is serve people food in a calm and clean and fun, vibrant environment.
And still historic.
It is. We wanted to pay respects to what was here before, but it's not that anymore. So you'll still see the Larrick's Tavern sign, you'll still see the Wayside Inn sign, but you'll see Clem's Kitchen under it, and it's a different thing.
And the plan is to initially open offering breakfast.
Correct. Yeah, so we're going to be serving breakfast Thursday through Sunday from 8 to 11, and then we'll see how it goes. If the town supports another day, then we'll add another day. But we're playing things as they come and just trying to make sure that we're doing it right, not fast.
You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. This town deserves that. You need to make good food, you need to give them a reason to come back, you need to give them a reason to allow you to open an extra day. And what better way to start that than breakfast? Get the first part of the day right.
So let's fast forward to October 2026, and you walk in the door. What do you want to see for dinner?
A bunch of people. I want to walk in the front door to a crowded room, which means I'm not in the back and I haven't been here for 5 hours.
Do you want them all to go, Bill?
No, I don't want them to know who I am. I'd rather them know the name of their bartender and favorite server or their favorite cook that makes something a special way just for them. I'd rather that happen. This is a very large space and it requires a really big team to run it. I'd rather it be about the community, the building, the town, the team that supports it.
We were talking about this last night. He mentioned the team. We have hired a whole bunch of people in a very short period of time. And it is the only time that I have hired this many people that I don't have a single regret or I didn't see this coming. Or the team that we have put together to launch this restaurant is amazing.
What kinds of stumbling blocks did you have? Were there permit problems? Were there issues that you wished had been different or easier, or were you pretty well prepared for whatever came your way?
We were prepared. We do a lot of collaborating with the health department. We were already in collaborations with the ABC because we were trying to host wine dinners from here, so we wanted to understand what we needed to know, so that part was easy. The hardest part was getting your arms around the size of the space and then just executing through a deep clean without a large staff. So we have a little food truck that's been great and it's productive and we're finally making some money and that was awesome, but we don't have a team of 6. That kitchen supports a team of 30.
Right.
So it just took a lot longer. So that was the biggest stumbling block, is working from the top down. Let's get everything a nice deep clean. Let's start super fresh. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It just matters that it's done right.
And we were running our other businesses, or are running our other businesses
Still
the
are.
whole time. So it's like we would spend 2 days in here tearing things apart and cleaning, and then it was like, oh, but we have a food truck run, so now we need to put things back together enough that we can go back to work, and let's go do a food truck run, and let's go to real estate closing.
Oh, so you're a realtor, so you've got closings and house tours and all the other things to do.
Yeah, so we've just been juggling them all around, and it's okay, when we have a window of time, then we come in and we work on the restaurant, and then we go back to doing the other stuff that we have to do, because we still have to pay for all of our Italian touch pizza that is all that we're eating.
And to be clear, pizza will not be on the menu.
Absolutely not.
Well, now,
There has always been some confusion in past iterations about ownership and how that sort of stuff works. So you don't own the Wayside Inn. I want to be clear about that.
No, ma'am, we do not. We don't own the Wayside Inn, and we have nothing to do with the overnight lodging or any of that. We have the bar and restaurant space, and we have the event space to host events, and we have the kitchen. The really, really big kitchen.
And I remember you were telling me earlier that one of the selling points for you was that the owner wasn't, okay, but you got to be in and you got to be open by this date, and wasn't really pushing you to follow a very strict schedule. That's what made this even more appealing and beneficial for you.
It was the only way to yes for us to do it.
yeah, they've been nothing but really supportive. They knew it needed to change. They liked what we were doing and how we operated when we were running the catering company back there, and they've been great to work with.
Yeah, I think the difference is you had the bandwidth, the ability to do that, where so many people are already tight with their money that they're sitting here trying to open doors as quickly as possible.
Exactly.
And that's why they end up being, as I call it, the 90-day wonders. 90 days, that's basically everybody touches it, but you have no repeat, and then they're gone in 6.
And you can be an amazing chef and suck at running a restaurant. I would go out on a limb and say probably most chefs do, because running a restaurant is business and very different than being a chef.
And most great restaurant runners aren't that good at chefs.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, and the thing that amazed me when I came in here, the age of this facility, I'm walking on wood floors, I hear no creaks. And I'm
Crazy.
thinking,
They don't build them like this anymore.
No, and I'm thinking, that's the thing, as you were talking about doing everything right. And I'm thinking, over 200 years ago, they basically did that.
They did.
That's why it's still here today. But for me, that's a solid foundation of somebody who comes in here and does it right, will be here for a very long time.
Sounds like a great metaphor to me.
And the well is still here.
The well is still here.
It's not going
No,
anywhere
it is
either.
not going anywhere.
Did you hear the story? Her desk chair used to be over that well?
So yeah, tell me a little bit about your history here.
Leo Bernstein, who owned this establishment from 1960 until he passed away in 2008, was my first employer out of high school. And so this space that we're sitting in right now, there used to be a wall right here to my right, and this was my first office. And that well had not been uncovered. There was a floor over it, and that was where my butt sat.
Wait, so the floor, wow.
Yeah, so they had
Just
built
covered it.
over it and covered it. And he one day was like, the very first well in Middletown is in this building. And I was like,
Really?
really? Yeah, yeah. And he was like, we're gonna uncover it. We're gonna expand the bar. We're gonna move your office. And it wasn't until then that I realized that I was sitting
You've been
over.
sitting on a well for all those years.
Yep.
And then we were joking too, the room just a little bit on the other side, radio stations have been here. Barry Lee has broadcast from here. WFTR, when it was just an AM station, has broadcast from here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history
Tons.
that isn't just Civil War history. There's a lot of Shenandoah Valley history that has happened in this
And
place.
yeah, because if you look at who Leo Bernstein was in this community, the mill, the reason Clark Historic Society has that mill is because Leo Bernstein renovated it and sold it to Clark Historical Foundation.
Didn't he sell it for $1?
Yeah, for $1. Wayside Theater was the same thing. He bought and established the theater, and then he sold it to the theater group for $1. We did that unveiling when I was here 20-some years ago.
Oh my gosh. You and I, Carl, need to figure out how to bring that theater back.
Yeah.
There's
well,
got
we
to be
talked about
tax
it. We
credits
talked
and
about
there's
it,
got
yeah.
to be stuff.
No,
We
there
got to
are
bring that
things.
theater
Yeah,
back.
there are ways to do it.
There's stills.
There's probably not a lot left of it.
There's not. There's stills in there now.
Yeah,
They're-
because it was going to be a distillery, I think, at one
it's
point.
still kind of in the works from what we've heard.
Really?
If they brew a gin, we'll happily carry it.
I was going to say, yeah, if they're listening, reach out because I'll come there and taste and sip and record.
Yeah.
We would love to support our neighbors.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to do it. And another way we're doing it is we're working with Daily Buzz for coffee. They're going to be right next door. Anything we can do to support the folks next to us. Everyone's been great to us since we've been in Middletown.
That's where a lot of people lose sight is the more you interconnect, the more everybody grows from the wealth of it, and more people come in. They may go down the road to get coffee, but they also then make an extra stop here. That's just the way the thing works because it's a win-win. You're talking just Middletown, and so many small towns lose sight of what they actually have. As we were talking about earlier, and you were all mentioning how the Wayside Inn's been up, down, up, down, up, down. And yet I'm sitting here thinking for all that up, down, and how solid it is. And I'm thinking,
Right?
man, nobody could take that kind of abuse and still look that good. When you took me back to the original, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
The original kitchen.
And all that. And I'm just sitting here saying, this is a whole piece of history that's before the Civil War. People don't understand that this is where our founding fathers basically ended up creating the great country that we have, was that type thinking. And it shows. And like I said, I give you nothing but credit for how well you've cleaned it. And for what it looked like. Because
pressure.
somebody really had to clean it to get it to look that
Yeah,
good.
I joked with you that you went all bar rescue on it.
Yeah, it deserves the respect.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. There's a feeling you get when you're here and you're working that you owe something to this place as much as you're a capitalist and you're using it to launch your business, but there's a level of respect that's required to operate here, at least for us.
You were telling me earlier, and I totally get it because I am the same way, that you were really hesitant to come to Middletown. Your heart is in downtown Winchester, as is mine, even though I live here in Middletown. But you came to the same realization that I did in that it's really not that far.
You can love them both. I adore both. This town has just been nothing but great to us, and we absolutely love it here. And the people have been great. And if you're on the side of the road and your car's flat, 5 people stop. Right? It's a wonderful town. The town office has been nothing but great to us. There's a lot of charity here, and people really care. And the same thing's true in downtown Winchester. And there's no reason why you have to pick one.
And you've always been engaged in community. I want to make sure we mention that because you're here now, so is a fridge.
Yes, we actually unveiled it this morning.
Right? I missed the ribbon cutting. I'm so sorry. So for somebody who doesn't understand what that is or know where it is, give me some background on why it came to be and what you want to do with it.
My wife set the seed real early that we needed to look at philanthropy as just part of what we do. And it was real easy after doing a couple of fridge drops. And people go in and eat, and you're like, oh, the world's bigger than just this. So we would always take whatever we had for leftovers, and we'd put them in the local community fridges downtown, Winchester, and they added one on Montague. So we would feed those as best as we can. Then we had catering clients that would come to us and say, hey, take the leftovers, put them in that fridge thing you guys do. That's great. So we're like, okay, this is great. Like, we're moving a needle and actually doing, so you can watch it. There's actually,
You can see it happen
it's
before your
very
eyes.
easy. Okay, this was the right move. Garbage cans aren't the place for food. Hungry people are the place for food. And when we started catering out of here, we knew that this community didn't have one of those. There is kitchen equipment all over the place here, so we found an extra fridge. We tested it, made sure it worked. Went to the town office, talked to the folks there, and Mayor Harbaugh, and he was an easy yes. In fact, he had said you should go talk to Abby McAllister from Skanks. She was trying to put one. She didn't know where to put it. She needed a place. And I'm like, I got the place. We met with Abby. Abby had some great ideas and said that Skanks would be happy to support and add food to the fridge. We took some leftover food when we were cleaning up down to the local food bank, and we're asking them questions like, is there a need for this? It was a clear yes, and I cried like a girl when we put that fridge up. It was super cool.
The concept of it is amazing. And because it is refrigerated, it is even more of a big deal than most of your standard food pantries. So you're going to be able to get all the farmers that we have here. You're going to be able to get lettuce and produce, things that are going to keep in there long enough for someone to see them that maybe wouldn't have access to them otherwise. They're going to be able to feed their family healthier foods because they have some access to them now.
And maybe they're going to pay their rent with the money that they would have spent on groceries. Because for a lot of families,
That's the difference.
It's an either or thing.
That's right. Yeah, they're having to make tough choices.
Yeah.
It is. It's tough. And Andrea from CCAP was the one that kind of opened our eyes to that. She gets all the credit in the world for introducing us to the fridge, and we've been able to feed it, and now we have one. And it's really neat. And Matt Schaefer from Schaefer's Barbecue came down this morning just to say hi and watch, and first words out of his mouth were like, hey, so we can just so it's an educational thing. So for anybody listening who wants to know what you can do in the fridge, if you have fresh fruit, put it in there. If you have rotten fruit, throw it in your garbage can. Don't bring it here.
Right.
If you make a large family meal and you've got some leftover, put a date on it, the date it was cooked, and put it in there.
You can bake cupcakes and just leave them. I know that Andrea has told me that there is a group from the church at Abundant Life that also has one, that once a month, or maybe it's once a week, they all get together and they make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They make like 6 dozen peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and they put them all in Ziploc bags and they put them in the fridge so that somebody can have them for lunch or as a snack. Anything goes, more or less.
Yeah, anything goes. Just use common sense.
Yeah.
Label things. We've got a pen and a sticky pad out there. Try to keep it neat if you can, and just, if you can help.
I'm really excited that we have one here. It's like we're coming into our own, and it's thanks due in large part to you guys. And I think what I hope as a resident here, and we've lived in Middletown now 22 years, I think, maybe. We moved here in 2004. I love that it seems to be coming back full circle. I remember what it was like when we moved here, and the Wayside Theater was still operating. The Wayside Inn was still here, and it was a fancy place to come and eat. The Civil Cricket was in the little log cabin down the street. There was Irina's. Eventually, I'm going to remember the name of that little gift shop that was right next to what was Nana's Irish Pub that is now Vault and Cellar. It was just this really cool, quaint place that you could walk the streets, you could walk your dog, and still be able to do cool, fun stuff. And then it kind of stopped. And now I feel like it's coming back. And I think that's because you guys are seeing that vision, and hopefully that brings other people to see the same vision and realize, oh, if they're doing that, you know what we could do? That's what I hope this does.
I hope so. And Middletown's a small community. They do events really well here. The sense of community feeds itself. 4th of July, the farm to table, the car show that comes through here.
You better brace yourself for the Christmas parade then.
He has not
say
yet.
Christmas
He
for a
hasn't
reason
experienced the Christmas parade yet.
I've seen the rest. I can't wait.
So the plan is breakfast service starts by, let's say, no later than the end of September. And then you're going to see how that goes. You're going to open it up here in the smaller place where the bar is. And then you've got overflow into the next room. Food truck is likely going to be in the parking lot for lunch service, because why not?
Right.
And then once you get your legs under you and you figure out all of the ins and the outs, the ABC license gets approved, all of that sort of stuff, then you're going to look at dinner.
Yep.
Ideally with a Thursday through Sunday, maybe adding a day on either end as people come in and support.
Yes, ma'am. That's the plan.
Wow. How about that? I got all of that right.
Yeah, you got that
Like-
right. But I find the interesting thing that you brought up earlier, because we referenced it several times, the tavern, the bar, but you have no reference in that in the name. You call it the kitchen.
It is.
And I think people need to understand the concept of why you think that, so people
Yeah.
don't
Why
think as soon as
Clem?
they walk in.
Well,
And then why
so-
Clem's
so
Kitchen?
How long we've been married? 9 years in October. I will have stolen her name from her.
Clem is my maiden name.
Okay.
So we're giving it back. Let's make
Yeah.
no bones about it. It is definitely Clem's Kitchen. Billy Sue's has a little catering spot around back. We wanted to focus on the food. It is food first. There is several amazing bars up and down the streets of this town. You find us at Italian Touch on any given night about 9 o'clock. We just didn't want to be that. We really wanted to focus on the food. Food has been such a big part of our life. We met in a restaurant. She was my boss. Through Bernstein too at Battletown Inn. This whole
Battletown
story-
Inn, there's a name I haven't heard in forever.
This whole story is centered around this odd
Yeah.
place here.
Had this not existed, I never would have ended up at the Battletown, because Leo Bernstein moved me to the Battletown Inn, which is where we met.
That is so crazy.
And we're foodies. And we like to travel and eat.
So when we're talking about breakfast, sausage, gravy, and biscuits.
Definitely.
You're going to have quiche. You're going to have eggs. I can roll up in here and say I want 2 eggs, over medium, bacon, and all of that sort of stuff.
Yep. We're going to be carrying Crable's bacon and
Link
sausage and scrapple.
Oh, you just won my husband over Scrapple.
Yeah.
He's all in on that.
We're working on the thickness.
No, thank
we
you.
got to get it right. It's got
Yeah,
to be crispy on the outside. It can't be.
Although I'm sitting here turning up my nose. I'm fairly confident in saying that if anybody could get me to eat Scrapple and like it, it will probably be you.
We're also going to have, which for people from Bill's childhood neck of the woods, we're going to have Taylor ham or pork roll.
Okay.
So little taste of Jersey.
And family friendly.
Yeah.
So this is a place that you can bring the kids.
Yeah, so the little corner here behind us is going to be the little kid corner. There's going to be a chalkboard and some things to keep kids occupied while their parents maybe enjoy a quiet hot
Cup
meal.
of coffee. Yes.
Quiet with children.
By the time this airs, it'll probably be on the internet already. We're currently trying to figure out the right cart, but we're going to do a tableside chocolate milk service for little kids.
I just think that is so amazing.
It needs to be special. It needs to be fun. Besides that, if you can get kids to want to go somewhere and behave and have a good time and you make it interactive with them and it's fun, they don't feel like they just have to sit there. They can feel like they're part of the whole experience.
What are you thinking from a dinner menu? Because let's be honest, it was Mexican Irish in here before.
It's not going to be that.
Well, yeah, we're thinking clean, classic, and we like to play with our food. And we also don't like the same thing over and over again. So it'll change regularly. We need to figure out what exactly that looks like. And one of the thoughts we had to do that was just do some kind of pop-up-y things, right?
Oh,
so
perfect.
When the opportunities present itself, fire up a quick post online. Hey, we're open for dinner. We seat about 26 in this room. We'll probably just do it in here. Try out a couple different burgers, try out a few items, see what works, gather people's feedback, and then build the menu from that.
Now, will you have separate social media accounts for Clem's Kitchen, or should people still be, they should absolutely still be following Billy Sue, but you're going to have different ones, right?
Clem's Kitchen already has a Facebook page. I am a little technology challenged, so the Instagram is not exactly working yet.
We'll work on that.
And then the website is in the works. We've started on it, and then we got distracted by a lot of other things.
I feel like from a marketing perspective, that Facebook page is going to serve you so much better, at least through the first 3 to 6 months of getting open, because people are going to be able to go and see when is that pop-up happening or what is going on. You're going to be able to talk to people about, hey, we're doing this today, and people are going to be able to post and say, we went there, it was great. They can do reviews, all of that sort of stuff. I think that should be your first priority. Instagram is great if you can take good food pictures. If food pictures aren't your thing, then Instagram can be the third thing. I would say Facebook, website, Instagram.
Good to know.
There you go.
And we're in a small town. People talk.
Yeah, you just put a sandwich board out front, and people are going to start rolling in here. Wait, what? Something, huh?
Mm-hmm. We've already heard, hey, why were you guys moving tables out there? You open yet? Hey, we saw some stuff going on. Who are you? Just a lot of pop-bys. So you get a chance to meet a lot of your neighbors.
When you gave us the tour, Amanda, I joked with you guys earlier, I came to dinner for my prom here. I have been in this building multiple times. I was here when you announced that you were moving the commercial kitchen. You were going to have your catering kitchen here. I still had not really fully wrapped my head around just how much space and all of the different designated rooms. So you have a large area, but then you have designated spaces. You have an entire terrace. There is that barn-ish out back. There are plenty of options for corporate get-togethers, for birthday parties, for me having just all of my girlfriends over because I need to put distance between me and the dog, but not so much distance because it's only a block and a half away. There is a ton of opportunity here.
There is. The space is just incredible, and I don't think there's a whole lot of gatherings involving food that you could want to do that you couldn't find the perfect space for here.
And the backdrop is amazing. There's the brick walls, there's the fireplace.
It is also a very well-positioned space to watch the sunset.
Yeah.
We work 18 hours a day. 10 minutes, I'll go stand out there under a tree and just stare at the sky.
And we get some amazing sunsets here in Middletown.
Don't make it like this anymore.
Yeah.
We don't make these. It's a real treat.
And You couldn't ask for much more parking than what
No.
you've got here.
No, I'm a food truck guy, like giant big parking lots that are easy to turn around in. And any food trucks out there interested in coming and setting up, come talk to us. We've got a giant spot for it. And the town is always looking for new dining opportunities. And what better way to support that than have some of your friends come out and
I'm
serve?
seeing a Food Truck Friday thing.
Food truck
We
rodeo.
talked about it.
You could actually put that theme with the upcoming next year with the 250th anniversary. That would be your tie, and there's actually grant money available that the state's providing for those type themes that tie to the 250th. And because you have that space over there and all that, you could play a lot of different avenues from that direction.
And we've talked about that in the past where sometimes people are thinking, oh, I can get a grant for having an event or for marketing around this 250th. But there is money available if they need to repoint the brick or they need to do physical things or want to do physical things. There's also money in that 250th fund for that, right?
Yep. There's different things, and they just did a release of their funding that your local economic development tourism person have access to. And they can literally sit here and work with you. And as you talk about your creativity and creating themes, so let's just take a product that was basically in our food source over 200 years ago, and you put a modern spin on it. You put a patriotic name, and you can get that funded and create that opportunity. So that becomes your signature for that year of a brand for the celebrating 250, and then after that, it's gone forever.
Lucky for us, you know something about that.
So what other things do you think they should know about? Or do you guys have questions? Or, hey, we really thought we wanted to do this, but we're not sure how it works.
Yeah, the one thing that we were talking about earlier, and I think it's a thing that's really important, you were talking about challenges of the different regulations that you have to comply with, that really they're designed for the big company because they basically sell globally. But when you're this small producer that you're sitting here in the local market and having to comply with the same regulations, that's lost revenue and the community ends up suffering.
It's
Because
cost prohibitive.
Yeah, eventually people walk away and just say, I can't. I've heard this more than once. The regulations basically just put me under because I had to comply so much, it just wasn't worth it at the end of the day. And I think that's an important thing that people need to understand, that when they see a price tag on a plate of food, part of that is the regulations that you have to comply with. And I always tell people your food would be much cheaper, but because of all these requirements, they have to do this. And it's not because they want to, it's because it's mandated. And that puts a lot of stress on a lot of small businesses, because if they hiccup, they have a fine or they get a bad rating, now all of a sudden that's out there. Why did you get that score?
So should they be letting their local elected officials know, hey, this is a problem for us, this is a barrier?
Yeah, just let the congressional leaders, because lots of times they accept the regulations and not really truly understand why the regulations were created.
And what the actual purpose for them is.
Yeah. And what it does, it just trickles down. Because most of the time it's designed for the big company, but they immediately trickle down to the small company. And that's been shown in all the industries. It's the big companies create the problem, but the small companies that end up paying the price. And they're the ones that get impacted most on the bottom line. And if we would basically keep, as I call it, two-tier system, big company, and then what the small companies have to comply with, we would have a lot more profitable and successful small businesses staying in business versus going out of business.
And it's interesting to say reach out to your elected congressional people, because so many times I think small businesses complain to each other.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, I can't believe we got to do this, or this is the dumbest thing ever. It wouldn't occur to me to reach out to anybody that is an elected official, but you're never going to get it changed if you don't talk to people who actually have the power to change something.
Lots of times Congress creates things.
Yeah, they created the problem.
Actually, no, they create tension. But then it goes to an agency. Then the agency starts creating the regulations, but there's not a check and balance on the regulations. And that's where the problem develops, and that's where it steamrolls, because there's not a check, and Congress doesn't check until they start hearing from the business owners or people in the community about all this. Then at that point, they say, what?
Huh? Wait,
that
now
wasn't our
we
intent.
need to go and check.
Yeah, and so that's the challenge in all this, because having been a business owner in my past life and dealing with the crazy regulations, because I had a manufacturing company, polymers. I had 4 different spill plans for 4 different agencies. I said, can I combine it just to one? Because you're basically asking the same stuff. No, you got to have 4 different ones. Is that really economically worthwhile? No, but it's the way the regulations are written. And so that's why I tell people, the intentions are good, but sometimes they get out of control, and unfortunately the business community and then the local community ends up suffering because of the costs, the increased costs, and everybody has to pay for it.
We spend a lot of time checking unnecessary boxes,
Mm-hmm.
so we're going to look to you for help on that. Take those expenses off, the time lost, and try to recoup what we can of those.
Anything we didn't cover?
No, I just love like I said, I love the historical of it. And then your foundational philosophies that really tie to the historical significance of the place. They're so interconnected, so I commend you for that.
And I think Leo Bernstein would be proud if ultimately a nonprofit commercial kitchen rolls out of this space.
I think he would be too.
I think that would be one of those things where he would be like, yes. That wouldn't have occurred to me, even though we just had that conversation with Winchester Co-op Market how many months ago.
Yeah.
Didn't even think that could be a great idea for here.
As soon as he said the food trucks and all that, and I know how many of them are struggling, and the economic development here could literally set up a food truck program. They could get the funding to get a food truck that they could actually rent out.
Ooh, that's cool.
And then your organization could be the mentor of that group and oversee.
Food trucking, you got to kind of stumble on your own to figure
Yeah.
that one out.
Yeah.
We can get you started, but you need to learn your own lesson.
There you go. Shoot the bubble.
That is a cool idea, though. I love it.
Thank you for last minute, totally on the phone for something else. And I'm like, hey, can we just come and stick a mic in your face and talk about Clem's Kitchen? I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for making the trip down. As
no.
always, my goal next month is we're going to knock wood, we're going to go to Round 11 Potato Chips.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk to Sarah because it's Manufacturing Month and
Women Business Month.
Women in Business Month. So we're
We
going
only carry their chips for our food truck, too.
to see.
You should go on that trip.
He brought me some Yukon Gold in the parking lot today because they're making them. It is the season.
Okay.
So
Her original location was right across
Yeah,
the street.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. That's where we met.
the
them
first
the
time
night.
we did a show with Daily Buzz, and so when we're standing there, I'm giving him all the history of when they were here. You could smell what potato chip they were making when it was dill pickle day. You knew it was dill pickle day because you could smell it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You
I
would've loved
could
it.
I would've.
walk. Oh yeah, it was amazing. I could walk down here from the house and get what I always lovingly referred to as a trash bag full, and eat them on the way home. It didn't count because I walked to get them and walked home. So
That's
it
how
didn't.
that math works for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for us today. Just a reminder that there is more of this conversation on the podcast at thevalleytodaypodcast.com. You can also subscribe for free in any of the podcast apps, Apple Podcasts. You can tell Alexa to play the show. You can get it in Spotify, all of those places. So I highly recommend that you do that while you're on your way this weekend to the Wayside Inn to enjoy breakfast at Clem's Kitchen, because again, this is the weekend they are opening. Before I go, I also have to give a quick happy birthday shout out to my father-in-law, Bill Michael. Happy 85th, Pap. I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, just a few minutes after noon, so meet me here then.